Hello, this is Watch All About with another watch review, and in this review we're looking at a pretty popular release at the moment, the EMG DL63. They keep on selling out, and the next batch will be due within this month, January 2018, which is pretty cool for all of you people who are waiting. It's pretty obvious to see why it's so popular as well. The price is $350, which is around £260, and for that you're getting a very cool, stylish Panda mechanical chronograph. So mechanical chronographs, notoriously slightly more expensive naturally than any other type of watch. Well, mechanical chronographs in particular. So to get one under £300, $350, $260, a great price for a mechanical chronograph, especially one that looks this nice. So we will have a look at it in closer detail to see how it stacks up. So first of all, EMG stands for Ernie, well, it's the initials of the founder, Eric Goodlock. I don't know what his middle name is, just so you know. Goodlock also refers to the little padlock in the crown as well, which is a nice little touch. So just a little insight there into the founder, Eric Goodlock. So size 42mm in diameter. So I've got a 7¼ inch wrist for reference. If I pop it on, there we go. 42mm diameter, I feel, is pretty much the perfect size for me. Large enough to make a statement, but not too big that it's uncomfortable or looks silly or anything like that. So especially for a chronograph, it gives you enough space on the dial to have your sub-dials, etc. So everything's nicely spaced, works really well. Height-wise, 13mm height, so that's it's pretty average height. Nothing to complain really, not too high. You can still fit it under jumpers, etc. But it's not crazy slimline either, so it gives you a nice bit of wrist presence. Lug-to-lug length is 48mm, so very standard size lugs there. Everything's well proportioned to each other. So yeah, really good size case for my liking. Weight-wise, we're knocking at 72 grams. So again, on the relatively light side of things. It's quite considering it's got a mechanical chronograph. It is relatively light, very comfortable on the wrist, especially with the nice comfortable strap. It does wear very nicely. You can easily wear it all day long. In fact, I was wearing it all day long on Saturday in London, just walking around all day long, and I never had a single issue with it at all. Not had a scratchy wrist or had to take it off at all. So yeah, very good in that regard. Water resistance is 3 atmospheres or 30 meters. So not the best water resistance, but then again, this isn't the kind of watch you'd want to take swimming, but it does have a mild level of protection in case of any accidents there. The movement, if I just whip it open, is the Seagull ST1901. So I have come across this a couple of times before, namely a couple of the cheaper Alpha watches, like the Radomir Homage and also the Paul Newman Daytona Homage as well. Very nice to look at, as you can see. Really lovely depth to it. Reasonable finishing as well. The quality of the finishing is pretty good considering it's an affordable Chinese movement. This one has been pretty well regulated as well. It's coming in at plus 6.4 seconds a day, which I honestly wasn't expecting to be quite so close to COSC specs. I mean, usually I try and hope for around 10 seconds a day out, but yeah, plus 6.4, very good considering the price you're paying and the the nature of the movement. So yeah, very nice looking movement, as you can see. So that's always sure to be a statement piece. You can chat to people about that very easily. Lug width, we have 22mm. So again, I think it tapers down to 18mm, and I think that suits the general proportion of the case perfectly. Looks good on the wrist as well. 1 year warranty, so you are covered in case of any serious issues for a year. So just one thing I do want to mention is slightly disappointingly, it has a mineral crystal, and for many people that is a major turn off immediately. I did inquire why. Why would you put all your effort into making such a beautiful watch and then settle for a mineral crystal rather than a sapphire crystal? And they said that it's actually using exactly the same case as the Siegel 1963 reissue, which I'm sure many of you are aware of, and that just has a mineral crystal. So because they had to do quite a small minimum order quantity to begin with, they just had to go with the same as the Siegel, which had a mineral. So I think maybe in the future, probably will get upgraded to sapphire, but for now, personally, I think that's the only issue with the entire watch. But let's still discuss it in closer detail. So the dial then, very nice crisp printing, black and white, and then a splash of colour with the DL63 in the bottom half. As you can see, just a panda dial is so striking, and it looks great, I think, with these two big black eyes staring back at you. There's two sub-dials. If I just start the chronograph there, ticking away nicely. So we have our running seconds hand there, and our 30-minute chronograph timer on the right-hand side. We have some applied elements as well. The hour markers are sort of like these angular U's, if you will. They have like a black kind of plasticky kind of finish to them. Personally, I probably would have preferred them to be a little bit more stainless steel-y kind of finish, but they do look nice. They've got Loom pips at the bottom as well, and we have a little bit of Loom on the hands. The Loom itself isn't incredible, so don't expect for it to be blazingly bright in the dark, but then from a watch costing this much, it's not something you'd necessarily expect, really. So the only other thing I think with the dial is that this outer edge is probably a tiny bit too busy for my liking. I'm just thinking they could have combined these two separate tracks into one, and then kept the tachymeter around the outside. I just think having the dashes for the chronograph second and then a minute track is probably a tiny bit excessive. That could have been combined to being a little bit more subtle around the edge, I think. But that's just my personal opinion, and not really something that should affect your decision. Okay, so moving on to the case then, we have a variety of finishes. We have polished sides and brushed top and a brushed bezel, and if we flip it over, we also have a polished bottom as well, polished case back as well, quite an angular ridge around the outside of the screw and case back with obviously our exhibition window. Our pushers are very nice, decent pump grip style, very nice, decent thud when you're using them. Feels really good under the finger and the thumb. And then our push-pull crown, as I mentioned before, there it has the padlock to go with the founder's surname, Goodlock, which is a nice little personal touch. Really decent size crown as well. Obviously, it's a hand wind movement, so no, it's not automatic. You have to wind it every other day, otherwise it will stop. So really good, thick grip, nice thick crown itself as well. Really easy to wind up and pull out and use. So yeah, really, really good, decent crown there. Moving on to the strap then. It is an aftermarket strap, which is a slight disappointment. It would have been nice to have seen some sort of signage, but it's all completely bland, as you can see. No signage or print work anywhere. The buckle, standard tang buckle, has no signage, so it's no logos or anything like that, just plain old brushed. Personally, it would have been nice to at least have seen the logo on the buckle, but there we go, we can't have everything. The leather, however, is really, really nice quality, very, very supple, as you can see. It's very bendy, fits really well on the wrist as well. Nice little stitch detailing at the top shoulders as well. So yeah, very, very good quality strap. It's also good to have quick release pins. I think these should just be on every single strap going. Anyway, okay, so let's get the macro lens on and have a look at it in much closer detail. So starting with the dial, here we have print work and some more print work around the outside. See our minute tracks there. Moving to the bottom half, we have our little splash of colour, DL63 there. And then our hour markers, as you can see, has sort of a plasticky kind of shiny finish to them. Nice unique shape, however. I do like the shape of them. And our loom pip just below. Moving on to the hands, the same kind of finish to the hour markers, quite a shiny, plasticky, painted finish to them. And then our subdials with our white hands. There we go. Okay, so moving on to the case then, we have our brushed top of our lugs, brushed bezel as well. And then if I just give the side a quick wipe. Excuse me for wiping. Here's the side of the lugs. Okay. It's always difficult getting a decent shot on completely polished. Moved on to the crown. There's the embossed padlock, very nice and neat. Decent grip as well, as you can see. And then here's our pump grip style pushers. Again, nice and big, easy to use. Flipping it over to the case back, we have details deeply engraved around the outside, which is nice. And then moving on to the movement itself, you can see it all ticking away nicely. All the bridges seem pretty good level of finish as well, as you can see there. Usually they tend to be a little bit grubby or whatever. If I just give it another quick wipe, and if I give it a wind, you'll be able to see it all spinning around. There's the mainspring behind there, spinning around as I wind it up. So yeah, everything looking relatively neat in there, which is a pleasant surprise as well. So moving on to the leather strap, here's the nice texture of the top grain, decent quality leather there, and then our detailed stitch. There's our seal down the side as well, which is nice to see, very good quality. And then the underside here, very nice and soft on the wrist, that is. And finally, we have our plain old brushed tang buckle. Okay, so this, I mean, there's no denying it. A mechanical chronograph for under £300, £260 or $350 is a very, very good proposition. The only blocker is, and I appreciate this is a blocker for many people, can you overcome the fact that it has a mineral crystal? And really, for me, that is a minor disappointment, I think. Obviously, I still think it's great. I still really, really like it. You do have to be careful, though, because it is a slightly boxed crystal, as you can see as well. So, if anything, it is more likely to get slight knocks or scratches. Obviously, it won't shatter because it's more shatter resistant than sapphire is, but you are likely to get a cheeky scratch on there if you're not careful. So really, that's the only thing you need to ask yourself. Otherwise, you know, we're on to a winner. It looks beautiful, really well finished as well, really good quality, just everything about it, and a really good price to boot as well. So if you do think you can live with it, then I would highly recommend it. So this was the EMG DL63, and that's what it's all about.